Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the Lodge, how goes it? Today we are serving up another Kingdom Hearts video, this one circling around who I believe is the unsung hero of the series, Vexen. That's right, this slimy, conniving, sus-as-hell scientist is the series' unsung hero, and I'm here to tell you why. Currently, as the story stands, Vexen has been recompleted and has since resumed his life as his somebody, Evan. That said, to avoid confusion, I'll be referring to him as Vexen throughout this video. Now, what do I mean when I say that Vexen is the unsung hero? Well, that specifically is going to take us to Kingdom Hearts 3. However, before we do that, let's quickly recap Vexen's place in the plot leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. If we pull ourselves back to the Birth by Sleep days, Vexen was one of Ansem the Wise's gifted apprentices, and when Xehanort cast off his body to become a Heartless, he brought Ansem's apprentices, Vexen included, with him. Vexen as a nobody only cared for the progress of his research, and was put at the head of the replica program. To put it bluntly, the replica program was centered around creating artificial copies of people. The purpose of this program was to create a copy of Sora so that the organization could use his Keyblade wielding powers. Everybody's favorite cinnamon roll Shion comes to mind. But now let's hop on ahead to Chain of Memories. The fruits of Vexen's labor on the replica program brought us Riku Replica, whose purpose was to confront both Sora and Riku. After failing to halt the progress of both our heroes, Marluxia deems Vexen's work a failure, and instructs him to confront Sora himself. After losing his battle to Sora, Vexen starts to give a warning to Sora about Marluxia, but not before Axel shows up to roast him to a crisp.
I don't want to. Goodbye.
With Vexen as a nobody destroyed, all that remained was his Heartless. It is loosely implied that Vexen's Heartless was destroyed in Dream Drop Distance, returning him to the place he was struck down in Hollow Bastion. You can see this explanation from an interview with Nomura right here. In the interview, the interviewer asks, "So they're Heartless. You're saying they were defeated somewhere along the line?" In which Nomura replied, "Well, Sora has defeated many Heartless before now, hasn't he? To say that they returned to being human, their Heartless was probably included among those, huh?" Followed by some laughter. Even when Sora became a Heartless, he was a normal Shadow type. The details of their Heartless aren't really that important. So moving on. This catches us up to Kingdom Hearts 3, where my man Vexen here deserves all the credit for being as sly and cunning as they come. I cannot emphasize enough how much I loved how his character was handled in this particular game. Let's start with when Saïx recruits him to resume his work on the replica program despite the fact that he has been recompleted. Vexen plays this so well, pretending to be that same snake in the grass he's always been. He claims he does not care about his second lease on life, and that all that matters to him is completing his research on creating the perfect vessel. At first, we were to believe this was a malevolent goal of his, but as we see later on, this was all part of a huge power play by our man Vexen. Moving on to the Pirates of the Caribbean world, there's a very peculiar conversation he has with Luxord. I love this part so much, and I will tell you why. Believe it or not, this is when the cracks in Vexen's true intentions show, but only very subtly. There is a point where he questions Luxord, as he detects hints of treachery in his voice.
Every stride I make is a stride for all of us.
Oh, really? And what exactly are we striding towards?
Luxord, do I detect a hint of treachery in your words?
How might Vexen be able to recognize that Luxord might have ulterior motives? Could it be a basic case of takes one to know one? Or perhaps traitor recognized traitor? Anyway, upon seeing that a physical heart was in the chest, and not the sort of heart that the organization typically pursues, Vexen moves on and follows Ansem to Twilight Town. This is where everything starts to come to the forefront. Vexen uses the Dusks to save Hayner, Pence, and Olette from Ansem, and meets up with them in the underground tunnel. This is where we learn of Vexen's true intentions, and he tells us that he wishes to atone for all he's done.
I have been waiting for this. Gave up a normal life in order to plant myself in the organization. And when I heard Xehanort had gone looking for you, I realized it was my chance to find you as well. For you see, I too wish to atone.
My jaw dropped when I first saw this scene. Personally, my first time around, I did not see it coming. Not much later, we see him meet with Demyx, and he convinces him to take Ansem the Wise and a blank replica to Ienzo. This replica would go on to revive Roxas and deliver a crucial moment for the Guardians of Light in the Keyblade Graveyard. Fast forward to the endgame, and Vexen along with the rest of the Radiant Garden Gang use the Dark Riku blank replica to bring back Naminé. So now that we've covered Vexen's journey through the saga, let's really zoom out here and see the consequences of his actions. Sure, he's guilty of many reprehensible transgressions, but at the end of the day, it was his research, his diligence, his cleverness that not only led to the completion of the replica program, but this very program led to the revival of Roxas, Xion, and Naminé. Without Vexen, there's no guarantee that the replica program would have ever been completed. There's no guarantee that there would be a method of reviving Roxas, Xion, and Naminé. Not to mention that Roxas's revival was a key turning point in the Keyblade Graveyard. Vexen's motives may not have always been pure, but as far as Kingdom Hearts 3 is concerned, he was a vital part in not only winning the battles in the Keyblade Graveyard, but in reviving some of our most beloved Guardians. So if you're like me, and you love Roxas, Xion, and Naminé, well, there's one man whom we owe our thanks, and who has truly atoned for his sins, and that is Vexen, or as we know him now, Evan. But that's all I've got for you guys today, so what do you think of Vexen's particular journey? Do you agree with my assessment that he is the unsung hero of the saga? What other organization member do you think deserves more praise? Let me know! But anyway, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.